Hey guys, Explorer 4 here, Horrorboy465, aka Nate Murphy. Welcome back to some more reviews, and today, covering another silent film classic. This is, of course, the film that's right here on the front of the case. Today I'm talking about The Phantom of the Opera. Now, in this box set, luckily there's a DVD guide in here that helps me find these movies because there's over 50 movies in this pack. So, Phantom of the Opera. Getting to watch it today, finally sitting down and watching it. It's a movie that I've been wanting to check out for the longest time. It's a movie with a lot of history behind it. It has gone on to be one of the best, if not the best, silent film from the era. Um, it's debatable for some it's the best, some it's just one of the best, but I can easily say this is one of the best ones I've seen. This and Nosferatu. I haven't really seen too many silent movies, but I've seen like a handful of them, and definitely the ones that stand out is The Phantom of the Opera and Nosferatu. Now, Nosferatu, I really enjoy because of the usage of shadows. I like the design of the Nosferatu character, Count Olaf or Dracula, but copyright reasons, it was Olaf or Nosferatu. There's like a million names to the vampire in that movie, but the design of Nosferatu in that movie I really enjoyed. I liked the ideas they put into it. I liked that it kind of started the some of the stuff that we see in vampire movies today, like the sunlight thing. I like how it's a different design for like the more rat design of the vampire. But honestly, comparing both movies, and it's kind of I guess unfair because Nosferatu was technically speaking for the longest time it was taken off the market. When the movie was made, the wife of the author of the Dracula novel had sued the company that made Nosferatu because they did not have the rights to make the movie. Now they tried to change some stuff, but they still got sued, and the wife had ordered for pretty much all copies of Nosferatu to get burned and destroyed. And luckily, there was some that was left. They made him into movie, to the actual full length movie, and the movie Nosferatu, luckily, is still a movie. And this, I don't know if it was ever like destroyed or anything like that, or postponed. And if it's a complete movie that was never really touched, it was just a movie that was made, it was produced, and nothing happened to it. It's kind of unfair to compare this to Nosferatu because, first of all, this is a little bit more of a different movie than Nosferatu, and also because this movie probably wasn't really tampered with that much like Nosferatu was. But, however, watching Nosferatu and this back to back, I have to say that I really enjoyed Phantom of the Opera a little bit more than Nosferatu. And I'm not taking anything away from Nosferatu. Nosferatu is a classic vampire movie that I really enjoy. I feel it dragged a little bit compared to this movie. This movie dragged a little bit towards the end of it, but there's a couple points in Nosferatu where I'll even admit it kind of dragged for a second. I don't know if I mentioned that in my review for Nosferatu or not, but comparing that to this movie definitely had a faster pace to it. There was points at the end of the movie where it started to slow down, but total wise for the pace of the movie, it was pretty well done. And I think that Phantom of the Opera is just, a very well made. I think compared to Nosferatu, I think it's like a better quality movie. I think that the shots and the set design and it's all sort of different than Nosferatu. But, I think what I really enjoy about Phantom of the Opera and why I, enjoy watching silent movies sometimes is that it was a different time period, it was a different era in film. This is around the time of the Depression and stuff like that, and you were able to see movies that were sort of showing this in their films. The way the Depression was back then, and people were starting to include them in the movies, and I can definitely still feel it in this movie. I felt it in Nosferatu. The tone of it was kind of like a depression tone, and you can kind of still feel it in this movie. But Phantom of the Opera has a lot going for it. I mean, it's definitely a classic movie. The story, very straightforward, very easy to understand, and very easy to follow through. The characters are very well done. I felt that the script was really good. It has a very well done atmosphere. It at times it feels very elegant and beautiful and very, good to look at the movie. Like the shots, the sets, and then at times it can get creepy and dark. And the usage of shadows once again in this movie, not as much as Nosferatu. Nosferatu was heavily focused on the shadowing and the darkness. Here, there was points in the movie where there was a bright lighting to the movie, and then there's points where it's very dark. So I like how they use that. I like how at a certain point in this movie, it actually goes to color for a second, and you have the character, basically the Phantom. He's all dressed in red and has the skull mask, and he's walking down to this masquerade area, and it's definitely a good scene where he's walking down. Everybody sort of freezes, and I like how in that one scene it's colorized, and he's wearing all red. It's a very well done scene, and the movie does a really good job of feeling very elegant, very old school, classy stuff like that. But it also includes a very sort of creepy undertone. I don't know what it is about this movie, but while I was watching it, I'm like, I don't know if it was because this movie took so many chances, and it really did for the time this was made. I mean, the movie came out in 1925. It's a 7.7 on IMDb. And for a 1925 film, I mean, it definitely had some scenes that were definitely made me realize, like, man, this movie definitely took some very brave steps. I mean, there's a scene where you see a shadow of a guy hanging dead. There's a shot later where you see the dead body, not like close up or anything like that, but you can still see the dead body a little bit. There's a scene where the Phantom is in the water, and he comes out of this water, sort of this lake area by where his hideout is, grabs a guy, pulls him in the water, and you get the idea that he killed him. Now, you don't see it, but he still says the guy has departed and whatever. So he kills that guy. I mean, the Phantom is actually going around killing people. Now, granted, it's not as graphic as like a freaking Friday the 13th movie. There's no like freaking death scenes and stuff like that. But for the time that it was made, it's still like, wow, man, this movie way back in the day took steps like that, and definitely would have been shocking to viewers back then. And I don't know, the movie is just very elegant. There's scenes where the dialogue, the way that it's written, I can't really, like I said, since it's a silent movie, I can't judge dialogue because there is no dialogue except for what's on the screen. But the script and the story, the way that the dialogue was written, and you see the dialogue how it was written, it was just very well done. It was very elegant, but at the same time, it wasn't like they were speaking in all these metaphors and I couldn't understand what they're saying. No, I mean, for the most part, I mean, it was just very straightforward, very elegant, but I could still understand it. It wasn't like thou with like that's why I can't watch like or read like older stuff that's like thou, like Shakespeare and stuff like thou art, and I can't understand what they're saying. Here, they add that elegancy, but to a point where it's not to where I don't know what they're saying. It's like I get it, I get the point what they're saying. It's a very beautiful message, and it's delivered very well. And just the time that it was made, the very elegancy of it. I mean, it definitely gave the movie its own thing. It was definitely its own thing. Nosferatu kind of had this sort of elegance to it. But like I said, Nosferatu focused a lot on like dark shadows, a dark tone, a very depressing sort of vibe to it, and showing the features of the times, of the depression that was going on at the time, and it really focused on that. Here, it's like a beautiful layer of like elegancy and like a masterpiece, and then underneath of that, there is this depressing, dark, gritty undertone to it, and I can't explain it. I mean, this is a movie that I was going to go into. I was like, all right, this should be a classic. But really, when I was watching it, I really appreciated how the director and everybody behind this movie put a lot of effort into the scenes. The way they're directed is very well done. It all seems very natural. There's no scenes where it's like, oh, come on. I mean, would that really happen? No, that the people who are, you can't even hear their dialogue, but the way they're talking, it seems very natural. The scenes transition very well. That was some problems with Nosferatu, is that there were certain, now Grant, like I said, the movie was pretty much put back together and re-released, but there are scenes in Nosferatu where characters will be walking or they'll be moving and they'll like teleport to somewhere else in the frame. And here it's like very well shot. The camera work is very well done. It's a little grainy, maybe because the DVD that I have, maybe the copy I have is a little grainy, but you know, it was very well done. There were certain shots where the lighting kind of faded out a little bit and then it faded back in, but nothing really too dramatic. I mean, the movie is shot very well. And costume design was very well done. You know, the design of the Phantom himself and the masquerade scene was pretty good. Um, Dialogue was really well done. Story was really well done. It's a very straightforward story. I mean, if you don't know the story of Phantom of the Opera, I mean, it's pretty much classic. Where at the beginning of the movie, this opera has been sold to these new owners, and the previous owners were like, hey, there's this phantom that haunts this, you know, this area or this building, so beware. And of course, the new owners are like, you know, whatever, we're not children. And the phantom starts at first just messing around with them, you know, leaving letters everywhere and messing with the lights and stuff like that. And then the Phantom falls in love with one of the actresses in the play of this opera, and he starts to talk to her through pretty much this wall, which there's also this mirror that leads to where his area is. And he's talking to her, and he's telling her that he loves her, and she has this old boyfriend that she broke up with, and he still wants to be with her, but he hears that she's still talking to somebody else. And the Phantom throughout the movie is trying to get her to come to wherever his like lair is, and towards, you know, probably the middle of the movie, she finally goes over and you see the Phantom, and he wears this really unsettling mask, by the way. Creepy, unsettling, just the way that it looked. Very unsettling mask. It's like half the mask is like a face, and then you see like a fabric right here. You can still see him talking, but up here is like a face. Very, very weird mask. It was definitely a creepy mask. The way that they filmed it is very creepy. And when she goes over, she's kind of scared at first. He takes her, I don't know if it's like this underground area. It's like way underground. There's like a lake down there, and he has this sort of house, I guess, out in the middle of this lake. Under the building, I think. I don't know. Um, and when she gets there, he tells her that he loves her and that, you know, if he is the Phantom, that he was created by, I think, the hatred of other men or something like that, or the hatred of men has created the Phantom. And you really feel bad for the Phantom in this movie because, like, yeah, he's a bad guy. He killed people. He's causing mayhem. But at the same time, he was trying to escape that because he was trying to fall in love. And he ended up falling in love with this lady who didn't want to be with him because, you know, he's a freaking psychopath maniac. But I like that story, how it's like, you know, where this guy is trying to find this, you know, love in his life because he has so much hatred and he's a maniac, but yet he's still trying to fall in love with this girl. You know, that storyline is definitely classic, and it's definitely from this movie. It's an original idea from this movie, and it fits the movie very well. And the movie has a really good, you know, sense of creepiness when it's needed. You know, there's points in the movie where they don't just overdo it, or it's not just like it's, oh, that's cheesy. You know, when it's creepy, sometimes it can be creepy. Now, it's not like it's a totally scary movie. There's just certain points in the movie where it's, you know, very unsettling or it's very surprising, like the death scenes. I mean, when you find that he killed people, it's like, you know, holy crap, back in the day, you did not see stuff like this. And pretty much the old boyfriend tries to save the girl from the Phantom, and you know, he arrives there, goes through some stuff, almost drowns, and he finally escapes that. The girlfriend helps him out. This mob tracks on the Phantom, pretty much of that classic shot at the end of the movie where he turns to the camera, and they think that he has something in his hand, but he like does this to the camera and he laughs, and they beat him up and kill him, and that's the end of the movie. And the story is very straightforward. It was very easy to follow, so I really appreciate that. It was very well written. It was very well directed. You could tell they put a lot of effort in this movie. And for the silent film era, it's a very high quality film. The music, I thought, was very well done. Now, Nosferatu I had to mute because Nosferatu was just overdoing it a lot. Here, I can listen to music that they put in the movies, like silent movies, if it's done well. If it's not like overdone, it's like being very loud and just obnoxious a little bit. Here, it was just very put right in the film. It was fitting the film. Certain scenes, the music matched it. The music was just very well done. It was, it fit the movie, and none of the songs really were that bad. I mean, it was honestly a pretty elegant score, and it fit the movie. So it wasn't like Nosferatu where the score was so overbearing I could not listen to it anymore. Like, I can't mute, and I watched the movie pretty much silent. Here, the music is very well done. It's very elegant. It's not too loud. It's actually a pretty good soundtrack for the movie, and the music is just really well done. It matches the movie really great. And I'm a big fan of Lon Chaney. Lon Chaney is definitely the best part about the movie. The rest of the cast is good. The girl he falls in love with, her old boyfriend, a couple of the other cast members did a really good job. But Lon Chaney, big fan of Lon Chaney. I like how he can still act through makeup and masks and stuff like that. It's not like he just puts a mask on like, oh, I'm the Phantom. No, he really gets in the character when he's in the makeup or when he's under a mask. Lon Chaney really does just, the movements. He really gets into the characters when he plays these characters with like makeup or masks on. He can still play them very well. And I'm a big fan of Lon Chaney. Lon Chaney in this movie is very well done. There's points where he's maniacal and he's crazy. And there's points where he's trying to talk to this girl and trying to see if she wants to fall in love with him and be in a relationship. And there's points where he's trying to be sneaky or he's trying to, escape and he goes into the shadows. Just Lon Chaney did a very good job in this movie. Definitely a good performance by Lon Chaney. The lead girl did a great job as well. I mean, as far as like judging, her performance, it was very well done. You could definitely tell that, there's points where she felt probably sorry for the Phantom, but she had to do the right thing and go with her old boyfriend and escape from this maniac. And the movie is very well done. I mean, it was definitely cool to say that I've viewed the original Phantom of the Opera. It's a movie that a lot of people have told me about over the years. They've said, "Oh, have you seen the Phantom of the Opera?" I'm like, "No, I have not." And I know there's a remake and there's another remake. There's a remake from the 70s, which I'd heard mixed opinions about. And there's a remake from like the 2000s, I think. Well, actually, there's a Phantom of the Opera from the 40s. Was there one from the 70s? I can't remember. There's one from the 80s, 1989. There's one from 2004. There's one from 2011. There's one from 1998. And there's one, I believe, from the 40s. And this is from the 20s. I haven't seen those movies. That's a lot of Phantom of the Opera remakes. But this is definitely a very well-made movie. I can say that it's very high quality. It's very well shot. It's very well acted. And if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. It's a classic movie. And I can definitely see people say it's a masterpiece and it's just a genius movie. And it really is. I mean, it's a movie that's very elegant, very well shot, very old school classic silent movie era style with that creepy, depressing sort of dark undertone to it. I mean, it's got a lot of stuff going for it. I mean, it's classic Lon Chaney, it's classic horror, it's classic silent movies, and it's very classic. I can honestly say this is a classic horror film. And yeah, it's like a horror drama, but it's a classic in both ways. It's a classic drama. It's a classic horror film. It's a film that's gone down in film history, and it's very cool to visit this movie and finally say that I have seen the Phantom of the Opera. So yeah, anyways, guys, that's my review for the Phantom of the Opera. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely check it out. It's a great movie, and yeah, definitely a good watch. So I'll be posting on Twitter probably today or tomorrow or something like that. I'll put the franchises that I have planned to review on Twitter. And if you guys want to go in there and vote, you guys can. I'll be putting them on a vote. Or I'll be putting them on Facebook and voting as well. and whatever wins the popular vote, I'll do the review on first. I'll probably just do it on Twitter, honestly. I think I'm just going to keep it on Twitter. But if you guys get on Twitter either today or tomorrow, I'll be posting a voting contest to see which franchise I can review first. And once the results come in, I'll be doing a review on the franchise that wins. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching my review on the classic film, The Phantom of the Opera, and The Explorer 4 out. See you guys later.